To Mumbles Community Council meeting the 8th of July 2025. Thanks everyone, a lot of members of the public here today. Sorry it's a bit of a squish, we are trying to redevelop this building, but if anyone's got a spare 3.5 million, that's the reason why it's a bit of a squeeze. So hopefully one day we will have a home where it's easier for the public to participate, but for now I apologise for the squish. First of all, apologies for absence. I've had some off Trevor Carr.
Councillor Jarvis, Chair.
Councillor Jarvis, thank you. Okay, moving on to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest, Rebecca?
Yeah, item 18 as a city councillor as well, and obviously with the city council having the being the main.
Okay.
Same reason, Chair.
And myself and Francesca is obviously a city councillor as well. And yes, thank you. And I don't think Angela's online, who's indicating the same thing, I believe. Angela?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Item number 3, we've got public participation. I'm guessing that it's all to do with agenda item number 6. So if it's okay with everyone, I think what will be more constructive is if we hear the presentation and ask any questions after that, rather than going over it twice. So if everyone's in agreement with that, if we'll move on to item 4, which is to approve the minutes of the special meeting held on the 25th of June. So you've all had those in your pack. Does anyone have any comments on those? Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
There was one thing. It said that I had a declaration of interest on that, but I think that was a different meeting. I declared an interest because it was to do with the Newton Festival.
Okay, so the grant for the Newton Festival.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the.
Double check the code.
Okay, so with that in mind, should we move those minutes on to the next council meeting just to double check that, Kerry, please?
Just
Yeah.
got an apology for absence on the 30th. I thought it was there. With it. It's the next item, sorry, the next set of minutes.
The next set of minutes, yes. Your apologies on that. Okay, so can we check those two things maybe and defer them? So we're deferring item 5 and 4 and 5. Okay, so we'll check those two things. If there is anything else that crops up, if you email the clerk in between. Okay, item 6 is to receive a presentation from Ridian Evans from Compton Group Land on Castle Road. So as you can see behind you is a proposal, I guess, from Compton Group on what they're going to be approaching Swansea Council with. They approached the Community Council and have asked to come and, as elected members, present this to the Community Council. Myself and Francesca and Angela are county councillors for this ward, so we would be involved in the planning stages of this. We haven't seen any planning application, is that correct? Okay, so this is the first we are also seeing of this. I just remind everyone that Mumbles Community Council is, although it's a statutory consultee for planning, which means the Swansea Council asked for their comments. Mumbles Community Council doesn't have any more powers than to just make a comment on the planning act. The Swansea Council is the ultimate appeal body, really, that we have to look to. So when this comes to planning, you approach your local councillors, mainly myself, Francesca, Angela, and go through the planning process with that. But that being said, I think it's very useful for yourself to come in and present and communicate, because these things are done apparently like you're apparently trying to do. So thanks for coming in. If you want to, I'll give you 10 minutes, if that's okay.
Can I just clarify, are these the same as the ones that were different set of plans from the ones that were several years ago?
Yes, in 2018, I think. Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was quite a while back.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So these are now different.
Correct.
Okay.
One of the personnel that were discussing it back in 2017, 2018 left the business. So, yeah. So that's why we're here.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. I'll give you 10 minutes, if I may, and you carry on, and then hopefully we'll open it up to the floor then, okay?
So, good evening, everybody. My name is Ridian. I joined Compton Group in December last year. I have 20 years of development experience and have joined Compton Group to look at all the development sites and all the angles that aren't to do with the core element of the business. And this is one of the sites that we feel has some merit. As I say, I wasn't party to what happened prior. So Denver, who is our in-house architect now, we have drawn the eight two-bed houses, and we wanted to bring it to the community council's attention to start off with. We have not applied for a formal pre-application meeting with Swansea. We have not made any planning applications. This is the first time we have stood in front of anybody and discussed it with anybody. We'd like to try to have your buy-in. We'd like to hope that they'll be met with, well, not rapture, but certainly with an acceptance that something might happen on the sites. And we would really like to hear your feedback to understand what the concerns are. I don't know what happened in the past. The correspondence is a bit hit and miss. So we're starting afresh. We'd love to see your feedback. In fact, we'd like to come back perhaps in September. I don't know how you want to play it, but we would like to give you guys some time. We can email you some plans if you'd like, or send it to the council and they distribute as they so wish. And we'd like to understand the concerns of Mungles. What if they have any issues? So we put the scheme together because we are we think there's an issue with site delivery within Swansea and the local area. We have Denver has designed 8 two-bed houses. We think they will go really well in terms of the desire for starter homes or potentially affordable housing, and which might be something that Swansea want to discuss, although at the moment we see them all as private housing, if that makes any sense. Although we have to discuss that with Swansea, but at the moment they are all designated as private housing. And we also want to try to regularise and help with some of the parking issues on Castle Road and Waverley Drive. And yes, that's pretty much where we are. And we wanted to come in and present our ideas and get that feedback.
Okay.
David, do you want to have a quick chat about it?
What I would say to add to what Ridian has said is obviously the Compton Group own this land. We're aware that there are parking issues here, and we are aware of the housing need in the area. There's a shortage of housing in the area for even low income starter homes are needed, for instance. So also there's the fact that there have been complaints about the overhanging branches and the leaves along Castle Road particularly. So the brief was basically to see what we can put on the site to optimise a small development to address those needs.
So instead of cutting the trees, you're going to build
Hang on,
houses.
Steve, 1 second. Sorry. We'll come on to that. We'll get a chance to speak in a minute. Carry on.
But as we see, they're 2-bedroom homes. They're designed with National Road Described Space standards in mind. So it's a feasibility study, I think, today, rather than a proposal. We're not concerned on that front. We're looking to see how this site could possibly be developed. And we're looking to put a pre-application into Swansea Council to find out if we're on the right track to start with, and that's where our approach to you has come in as consultees. Ideally, you'd be on side with whatever we come up with. So any strong objections against this are likely to at least change it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way it appears there is one of several different ways that this could appear. You know, we've done, it could all be brickwork, it could be render, it could be stepped. Yeah. It's just a first pick of what we might be able to fit on the site.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm sure there's a number of members of the public who are going to ask questions. We'll ask the members of the public and then we'll go around the councillors afterwards.
Yes.
If you'd like to, what we will do is we'll have 10 minutes for members of the public. So if you could, just so that everyone gets a chance to speak, if we could keep them short and concise, and then we'll obviously.
I will try.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I'm Frances Cooper, here representing Castle Road and Glenville Road, as I did the last meeting. 17 years, this has been ongoing, 17 years, that's my understanding. The development flouts all the parties and all the council pledges to preserve the natural heritage and the eco-positive trend of models. You know, we should be protecting green spaces, not destroying them. Castle Road is a busy dropping off point for the local infant school. Construction work would present major hazards for parents with very small children. Please, council, come and look for yourselves in the morning and in the evening and imagine what it would be like with the 6 months, 9 months, 12 months of construction work. Castle Road is already blighted by competitive and sometimes obstructive car parking. We do not need any more car parking in Castle Road. To us, this is an over-intensive use of a small patch of land. It's visually very intrusive, even the new design. 17 years, isn't it time the penny dropped? That this is not an environmentally positive proposal. It is just not wanted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What we'll keep going around if you don't mind, and then you can maybe address all the points together.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
Yeah. Are these houses 3-storey?
They work with the, obviously it's on the bank, so it works with the elevations. Yeah.
Yeah. You own the front on the road and the council own the back, or one way or the other, because I see the council cut one side, the back, and then your man cuts the front with his trimmer. Don't own. As you go up the road, as you turn left behind the proposed houses, that's owned by the council, isn't it?
Because it's all of ours. Up to it's all, as it were, Compton groups. Yes.
Oh, because the council guy comes along on his little moped. Sure. He cuts one side, then your guy comes down with his trimmer, and then he cuts.
I don't know whether that's a misunderstanding. I've not seen them
Well,
work.
it's been like that for years. But anyway, these houses are, say, 3-storey, and the width of the road is not much more than this room,
Yeah.
and you've got semi-detaches opposite.
Sure.
So you're looking directly into the bedrooms, or overpowering basically the semis opposite.
Yes. No.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
The distance is actually, I can answer that one. The distance is actually about 21 metres from the front.
You're still looking directly into the bedroom windows, yeah.
Yeah.
From their level. You're another story higher than the semis are now, basically. You've got the semis, the original series of.
Yeah.
You're another story, so you're
Yeah.
looking down their bedrooms or whatever, you know, but you're way above them. You're not in line with their roof line.
All I can say is that the distances that have been used and the standards that have been used for the design of the buildings are current standards. So that the 21 metres is actually about twice what we could be allowed under the.
Yes, but
current
those, your 8 houses proposed development will be quite domineering over the property.
That's about my opinion, yeah.
Well, yes. On opinion. Yes.
That is something that Swansea Council would pick up along on the course as well, I'm sure.
Something like that from what you've said. So are you saying that the houses that you've got proposed there are going to be taller than the houses that are opposite?
Another story.
Another story.
We need to look at that because there's the houses are technically below. I think these houses are technically already if we even put 2 stories in, we'll do that work and check the levels. But I think these houses are technically a little lower than this land here. But we will again.
Those pictures are 2-storey houses.
That you.
No.
There's a ground for.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I ask one more and a couple of?
Certainly, yeah.
Can I just ask you, you say you seem to be quite clear that you're solving the parking problem. Can you tell me how you are?
Well, we were hoping to provide, at the moment, from I think from P8 down to P2 is just, it's not regularised. People park willy-nilly, whereas we were
Well, they
hoping.
park behind each other.
The park along the
So
roadside.
that's,
Yeah, well,
so what were you regularising?
well, we were going to put in distinct bays.
All the owners.
No, the owners park, there's more parking at P.
Well, these spaces.
So Waverley Drive is going to be made, is going to have permit only, no?
No, not, it was just
You're having parking on the opposite side to where there's parking now on Waverley Drive?
Waverley Drive, sorry, yeah. These are all new parking spaces created within Compton's land. With a vacant.
Six.
No, these are just additional spaces provided.
But I don't understand how is that different to what's happening?
This is within the land. If people are parking on the road there, then they'd be within that roadway.
So you got a narrow road,
So
Well, it's not we don't change the width of Waverley Drive.
so you're getting rid of more green space.
So you're
Yes,
moving into
Yeah,
the.
green spaces, yeah.
They build on.
Here we go. Okay, so you're digging in to the green space behind Castle Road on Waverley Drive to fit cars, which seems to be quite against
But more cars.
the
because
sort of
it-
environmental future of.
Well,
Well, the idea is that we're trying to address
Yeah.
two issues. One issue is there's a lack of housing, and the other issue is there's problems with.
If we could talk one at a time, so when you're online, you can't hear if two people.
So I just got one more question, sorry.
Yeah.
When you mentioned about affordable housing, so you said that these are going to be private starter homes, that's your initial aim?
yes.
And that it would be affordable housing, so what price are you looking at these to be?
In what way?
Well, because you said affordable housing, and then you then get. But a starter home in Mumbles is different to a starter home in even West Cross, right? So if you're talking about affordable housing and helping people on low incomes, which is what you've said, then what starter price are you looking at as a 2-bedroom, 3-storey house in Mumbles?
Well, I think we're looking at about 200,000 for a 2-bed house.
So you're telling me that one of those will be 200,000?
Yes.
Is that realistic?
Well, that's at 300. Well, in the current market, we would like to think we would achieve that sort of figure. Maybe might be a bit more, but we're not looking to. Well, we're not looking to breach the Help to Buy rules in Wales, which is I think 300. But we're not. We're just trying to provide housing for the local community. If Swansea demand affordable housing, then we will look at the different tenures. But technically, we are under the 10-year threshold to actually deliver affordable on the sites. But as I say, we haven't engaged with Swansea yet. We don't know what the feedback's going to be.
What's that condition of you owning the site that you would build affordable?
Oh, well, usually the affordable housing is given or is an affordable housing when it comes in under the S106 agreements and takes on 2 or 3 units, depending on what the council demands as part of the planning permission. And within that, they usually want their start of 10 is they want to see social rented, and then some different tenures, perhaps shared ownership or discounted market sale for the other units.
None of those are what you're going down.
Well, I think it depends on what it really does depend. Look, we're a private developer, so usually we are looking to make profits, and I'm not going to apologise for that. But the size of houses that we are putting in will be ideal for starter families in the area. They are different in size to the sort of the Edwardian Victorian houses here. Yes, they reflect some of the terraced houses along Castle Drive over here, but they're not as deep. So there are some quite deep terraced houses just along Castle Road. We think they are actually ideal for local families to buy if they so wish.
Okay,
but there'll be open markets. Anybody can come and buy them.
Thanks. We've reached 10 minutes. I will extend it a little bit longer. Just the lady who spoke at the beginning, it took a bit of a turn. We went on a different route. So you mentioned about the build during the build, and we didn't touch upon that. So have you looked into the disruption on residents of the build, and also
We think it'd be more than, we think it'd be at least 12 months.
Yeah.
Yes. But with there are restrictions, so forgive me here, we've not done the full, we've drawn the scheme, we're here. We aren't sure we can take it forward. If there's such vociferous objections to it, I'm not sure we want to really, we may not, or may be directed to, but in terms of the build, we fully expect them to be, there won't be articulated lorries coming to the site, because I envisage them, they'll have to turn around and go back the way down past Castle Road again to exit. They can't come down here, of course, because the restriction and the S-bend. But so there'll be, and then the site setup will be probably along here, and we'll use a small Manitou to move the materials around.
Is there any more? Sorry, you had a question. Yeah.
So the lorries will be turning round.
Yes,
There's a roundabout there and our flats are just off that.
yes.
Do you mean to say all these lorries will go around that roundabout?
I don't think they can make the turn. I don't think it's not. It's going to be a U-turn. If you,
In the winter, it's a quagmire, and that's just with the dust truck and other building people that go up to Waverley Drive. They just go over the roundabout.
this is fine enough. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is there anyone else have any questions before we move on to council questions? Yes.
What concerns me, if the building went on, there we go, but then you have so much more traffic. That's a major problem there. Huge, massive problem. Because you look at the bottleneck of the lane, you've got the rat run lane coming through from Newton Road, and that really is a problem. Now, I know children are taken to school led. It's one of my sister takes her twin grandson there, and it is a hazardous, because you do have people walking down from Waverley Drive onto the road where cars are parked. Vision's not good.
And school drop-off time is horrendous, isn't it?
Time. But during the day as well, because a lot of people employed in Mumbles will park on Castle Road as well, because it's unreasonably free. If the council gave free parking places instead of paying disgrace, that'd be lovely, but they do.
So I'm sure if they do submit a planning application, I'm sure you'd obviously have to put a highways assessment and everything.
Just thought the path thing. I would love to have extended this footpath all the way down, but we can't because of the tree root systems. We can't disturb the trees in terms of, we're slightly worried with some of the trees that are growing out of the bank and are leaning somewhat. However, we can't extend the footpath because it would dig into the bank and upset the tree root system. So we'd love to do something there, because obviously people walk down. We'd love to, but
Could I just ask, on that particular issue just mentioned now, then I'm right in saying that you own it from Waverley Drive right through to Limekiln Road, all that land there?
Pretty much all of it, yeah.
Why have you allowed it to go to rack and ruin, whereby that the trees are excessively high? Then what has happened is taken the light away from the houses. It's affecting the well-being of the residents within Castle Road.
Yeah.
And what it is that it isn't simply just spreading to the side, it's upwards as well. And when you're saying these things, you haven't actually acted responsibly with how you've managed the land there. Because as regards the trees, then you are allowed to cut them down if it affects the well-being, because I've checked this with the council, is that if it affects the well-being of the residents, and as it stands at the moment, you're saying to us you're acting responsibly, and yet it is totally irresponsible what you've done with that land up to now. And in 2013, you actually said that you were going to preserve the Limekiln, and you would do it properly. Can't see the Limekiln now because it is complete undergrowth there. And in addition to which is that you put up some fence, which is a monstrosity. And so what I'm saying is you're asking us to take your one trust, but the record up to now. So my question to you is this: will you cut down those trees on that bank?
No, not without permission from
but the council have said that you can do it. So will you actually do it?
Cutting down trees. We'll have a tree condition survey, which was done. We had a tree condition survey done, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, and a lot of the trees were given the healthy, don't touch category, and so even if we wanted to, we can't. So, but we'll do we will instruct another tree condition survey. And if that demonstrates that they need, and look, I'm worried about a couple of them. I have to be honest with you, but I'm not a tree surgeon or a tree. So we will instruct a third-party consultant. We will do that work. We're going to do it literally. I'll instruct next week. We'll have that done as soon as we can, and we will release it.
Okay.
We'll give you the resules.
Okay, and if you could leave your, if you're willing to, if you could leave your details, then
Absolutely.
Any
Absolutely.
if you'd like to make contact, because it is private land, and if there is maintenance questions, we can direct you towards them.
Yeah, because the issue is they're at an angle and they are actually dangerous, which the council.
Let's not
really aware of it.
Let's not go into the detail on each tree in this meeting now, but we'll leave the details.
Especially with that,
we'll do that.
Especially with that
Okay,
recent
so
death.
I think everyone, we've gone way over 10 minutes. Everyone in the public has had a chance to speak. We're going to bring the councillors in for a couple of questions now. I've just got 2 which I should have probably asked at the beginning of the meeting, which, if you don't mind, before I bring everyone else in, can you just give us a brief on Compton Group and who you are and what that is?
Compton Group are owned by a local Swansea family. It started in 1952. They were originally developers, but around the 80s they pivoted to investing in ground rent income. They now have it fluctuates because of the nature of the business, but we have between 55 and 63,000 freeholds in England and Wales. I am responsible for all trees within the portfolio. It's thousands and thousands of trees. I'm sorry to mention this, but we won't do anything to trees without permission, and our tree surgeons won't. They want a method statement and the consent before even going near a tree. We take our responsibilities on that front extremely seriously. I know we need to do better at Castle Road, but sometimes we can't, even though we want to on a personal level.
Okay, so it's a locally owned business.
Third generation of just joined.
House builders, do they build their properties?
Yeah, so it's since COVID. Well, things changed during COVID. So I just joined, and we might start building larger. We already build single plots and other things like that, and air rights. But in terms of the larger developments, we might pivot and start that again.
And just one other question: if an application does come through, will it be a private or a public pre-application at first?
Well, usually pre-app, so usually private.
You can choose, but okay, that's fine.
But we're not.
That's your choice.
We're not there yet.
That's totally your choice. Okay.
The plan is at the moment to engage with you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's going to happen before we've had that feedback.
Okay, we can bring the councillors in for questions now. We'll try and keep it as brief questions and answers as we can, though, Rob.
2 little things for clarification. I'm taking it the 3-storey side is going to be on the castle roadside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the highest room with a window is going to be overlooking the houses opposite.
That's right.
And also, how many designated car parking spaces each house going to have, and where are they going to be?
These are the spaces relating to the houses along the frontier. So there's 1 per house.
1 per house.
Yeah.
Isn't that unrealistic for a 2-bedroom house, just for 1 car parking space?
We're working within current guidelines. And
I'm just saying it's unrealistic that each 2-bedroom house will just have 1 car. Quite possibly 3.
Arguably, yeah. Just that housing code behind.
That's what's supposed to be wrong. But I mean, we can't second guess them. They may come back and say they want 2.5 spaces. Then we will assess, and that might lead we don't do 4 houses. But right now, we've drawn it compliant.
No, I'm just making a point.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. But,
Okay, Sarah, do you want?
Hi. Although I do understand about the 2-bedroom and low cost housing being needed, my concern would be the SUDS aspect. How much SUDS have you managed to put into that space? Because if you're covering over a lot of green areas, we get flooding already. Yeah. We don't want to get more flooding.
You need to look into that. At the moment, I've just had Denver draw.
So there's no SUDS in that plan?
It's not drawn into it at the moment, no. I mean, you'd have to take advice and work with that.
Okay, because decently put in SUDS takes up space. Okay. So, yeah. Okay.
Rebecca, then Francesca.
So yeah, two questions if I may. So just on this reference to affordable housing.
Yeah.
And you said it meets a standard. Is it the Welsh Housing Quality Standard?
It's not worked to Welsh Housing Quality Standards.
So they won't actually be available for social, that won't be an option. Social rent wouldn't be an option because that would have to be.
They could be. I mean, the space standards have been following the old lifetime homes and national prescribed space standards, which are UK wide followed status.
Sure.
Basically.
But if homes are for social rent, they have to meet the Welsh Housing Quality Standard.
That's right.
So it's just, in terms of like managing the expectations, we shouldn't be talking about affordable rent if they're not WHQS compliant.
They can be WHQS compliant. I mean, they are using. I mean, I understand you're talking about DQR is another one I'm familiar with. So they could be. I mean, as I said, this is an initial feasibility, just to show really that we're considering possibility of building on this end of the site, and at this stage we're just looking for feedback towards that objective really.
Second question is, so obviously the residents have been involved in this a lot longer than I have. Some of the dates referenced are before I'd even finished my education, frankly. So is this a last ditch attempt from Compton? What happens if ultimately this is not a goer either? What would Compton do with the land?
Move on to something else.
Another development on the land, or would you finally accept that this has to remain green space?
Look, I don't envisage it as anything but a residential site in terms of an alternative use. So if it doesn't come to fruition now, then it stays as it is. I don't see it. We can't put a shop there or something. It doesn't lend itself to that. So, Francesca?
Yeah, thank you. And also thanks to the public participation, because I think it's really handy, particularly if you go
it's important.
A feasibility study, that you do have your input and saying, I know there's quite some strong feelings in the room. And as a parent that goes to the school, we've all three councillors actually represent Mumbles. We all got young children going to that school. So we're very much aware how busy that road can be. Few concerns, Sarah did touch upon the SUDs, is that is going to cost astronomical amounts of money, one, to get the designs. And I just think for you to say that you could build that for 200,000, I'd bite your hand off, because I just think that's totally pie in the sky. And it's a little bit disappointing that we can't see any sort of plans on that, because as people alluded to, there is flooding issue on that road. As councillors, we have a lot of complaints about the overgrowth there. A lot of the vehicles onto the road, and then it becomes a council problem. Really, it's not. It is your problem, with all due respect. The increase in traffic, not only during the build, appreciate you've got some parking to the front on Castle Road, but where you're putting the ones on the top, people have visitors. Parking in Mumbles is absolutely saturated. I wish I had a wand to create more space in Mumbles, but I don't. So I think you've got some really big problems there. And I think the residents have had the nail on the head on many of those aspects. And yeah, I'd be interested to see what you come back with. But yeah, I don't think this has got legs, unfortunately. But thank you very much for your time.
Great. Okay, thanks. And just Francesca said we had three of us have got kids in school, but just to confirm, we don't actually park on that road, right?
Just generally about the area. You own the land right up to Limekiln Lane, so you actually own the land where both the lime kilns are. One up on Limekiln Road and the one on.
No, I don't think we own. We own. Yeah, I think there was two there.
Yes, there is. If you own the land,
we don't quite get to Limekiln Road. Yes.
So, what is your plan for the one you do own? Is it going to? I mean, because it is, part of the Mumbles history, and as several people have said, it's a mess at the moment. It's been a mess in all the years I've lived here, and that's over 20 years. When is something going to be done about it?
Well, I'm open to ideas. I'm not quite sure what it is you'd like us to do, actually. And generally, I'd like to know whether you want us to. We can't refurb it, but could we open it up? Well, yes, maybe we could.
Yeah.
It's collapsed.
Yeah. I don't know. I've not been in it. Forgive me, I've not been in it.
Compton and Cadw, I think, about 10 years ago, they were going to open up like a tourist sort of thing to look at.
Should be.
Well, it just fell down because your boss, Compton, lives in the house directly above it. His garden came down with it. And all of a sudden, everybody moved away and just buggered off, basically. Put a fence up there, and it's now covered in weeds. And I think, well, Foster's living there, it's just covered up by the wood.
If you don't-
fast.
If you don't,
have another question.
sorry, I'll just jump in the middle. If you don't mind, we might make contact with you regarding the land in general, not about the development, but about the trees and about the kiln and the management of woodland in general. That'd be, if you don't mind, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah, what sustainable energy sources are you planning to use? Like solar, air source heat pumps? They will all be provided with those?
Yeah.
Good. And my last question, I'm slightly confused. You say you're providing more parking, but you're also providing parking in front of those 8 houses where currently there is parking. So how is that going to create more public parking if you're actually taking quite a large area of the current?
What we've done is rationalise the parking that is already there, as you say, of creating spaces where we can.
Okay. I'd just like to thank you for coming. Although it's, I'm sure it's very hard to, present something that, well, I would say, controversial, as I say. So, and you didn't have to do that. So I'm sure, as much as the residents don't appreciate the development, they appreciate you. I'm sure. So thank you for that. Everyone's welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you
Cheers.
It's on a portal.
This is the first time.
Well, it looks very similar to the last.
So, while the gents packing away there, you want me to wait and move on to the class report now? Okay, well, we're gonna just wait 2 minutes while the gents pack up.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
That's pretty much. The door closed for the air.
Thank you, cheers. Okay, just moving on to item 7 of the clerk's report, please.
Council's attention. First one is that we've received a resignation from a member of staff, which is Rob Hernando. His last day will be Monday, the 4th of August. So I'd just like to put on record my thanks to Rob for his hard work and the projects he's undertaken and the passion for those projects. Obviously, there will be a personnel meeting next week to discuss where we go from there. And then the second item I'd like to bring to council's attention, and I'd trust that this is actually put as an agenda item on the next community and social meeting, is regards to the antisocial behaviour at the skate park. I was actually contacted by a resident today who actually sent me footage of her son being beaten up there on Saturday, and it was extremely distressing, really upsetting. Actually spoke to them about this afternoon because I just wanted to speak to her from a council perspective to let her know and obviously get her permission to speak about it today, and also if she's happy for me to put it on the agenda for community and social, because that's the 3rd time it's happened to her son at the skate park. The other 2 times they haven't been successful in obviously obtaining any footage, but this time they were able to obtain footage. She would like to attend the community and social meeting as well, just to make representations to the council and why she feels it's vital that there is some form of put down in the skate park. So I just wanted to obviously bring that to council's attention. I will be speaking to the PCSOs as well with regards to additional patrols down there as well. Just on Saturday evening as well. We'll see footage today. Yeah, so it was just quite distressing.
Yeah, it is quite distressing. Sarah, do you want to?
Please, please,
Do they know?
it's still being looked at by the police and the family waiting for the police to come back.
Can I say, if there is a police investigation going on, is it right that we're discussing that? Because the police will normally, if there's like a complaint being brought to us, you normally have to let the police investigation commence before we discuss it.
We certainly won't mention any names and we won't.
Yeah, I think it's just obviously with regards to the new CCTV.
Yeah.
So obviously, speaking of
Yeah.
obviously, I've not said any of the details or disclosed any information if anybody will breach GDPR in that respect. I have spoken with the mother and she has given me her permission to obviously take it forward in the way that I've discussed with her. She's told me to do it.
Just ahead of that meeting, there's obviously legalities about who has CCTV over public land. If someone could do some research into that, because obviously the police and county council have permission to do that, but we aren't going to be able to afford to put up that level of CCTV there because they cost tens of thousands, 50,000 even, isn't it, for 2 cameras? So
it's something that feeds into the work that Swansea Council are doing around the other skate parks that they're looking to build.
I think realistically you can obviously get cameras which just record on a loop, don't they, and delete. And but if we had that and it was with a third party, that data was controlled and we only drew down on it when an incident happened. That makes sense, but I don't know what the legalities are about filming over that and over someone else's land, which is the council. So anyway, if we could look into that in the meantime, that'd be great. Okay, just moving on to Chair's report now. It is with great sadness that we learnt this week the unfortunate news of UMC, which is the management arm of MCA, has been wound up. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the directors of UMC for all their hard work and commitment to the community over the years. I must also put on record my concern at the highly questionable rateable value that has been attributed to the Underhill facilities. While we hope these figures will be revised following an appeal, there is no guarantee of this, and the slow appeals process has undoubtedly been a major factor in the company going into administration. Our clerk is working hard behind the scenes with both MCA and Swansea Council to find a long-term solution which is sustainable for Underhill. And I will keep you all updated on that progress. We have also regrettably received a resignation from our environmental officer, Rob Hernando. Rob has been a real asset to the council and to the wider community, and I would like to thank him for his excellent work and wish him all the best in his future endeavours. On a more positive note, we are nearing the completion of the seawall construction, and I have received fantastic feedback from residents. While the works and temporary loss of parking have undoubtedly placed pressure on local businesses, I'm confident that the long-term benefits, such as improved footfall, our vastly enhanced public environment, will be felt for generations to come. I'd like to thank Knights, Brown and Swansea Council officers for their excellent communication and working hard to minimise disruption during such a major project. Although the news from Underhill has been disappointing, it's important to remember that Mumbles continues to see significant progress and investment. There are many exciting developments ahead, and I remain committed to ensuring the community thrives. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 9, which is the financial report. So, firstly, does anyone have any questions on Mumbles Fest stuff on here?
I do have a couple of questions. There seem to be an enormous number of claims for various refreshments for meetings, and I was wondering, why are we paying for people to have tea and coffee or biscuits or whatever? Some are for, it says Mumbles Fest meeting, and the rest are the Story of Mumbles project.
Yeah, that actually came up this week, on email, actually. I mean, just so any members of the public watching this, we are talking £4.50, £1.25. No, I'm just, let me just, no, totally, I understand. I'm just, £4.70, £4.57, £10.72. And the clerk did ask what the agreement was, to which I said I didn't know of any agreement that was placed. So I think this needs to go to the cultural committee to. I'm looking at you asking a question for the story.
For the story bundles, yeah, because obviously.
Yeah, and other meetings, I suppose, as well. We have a council policy maybe across the board on because, you know, as Carrie says, we, you know, providing tea and coffee, tea bags and coffee for volunteers. That's I think, in my opinion, fine. But for people to meet in a coffee shop is not something we should be paying for, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So maybe that needs to go to a committee of some kind, culture.
Maybe to finance and compliance committee, because that ultimately it's a finance issue, isn't it?
Should have all the committee, shouldn't it? Maybe we should have
It would come within, you know, that maybe we should have a policy.
Yeah.
And therefore that would come within the policy subgroup remit.
Carrie, yeah.
I have a policy, policy. To take meetings out this office, I have to go and shop with somebody, so obviously I claim my expense back. If there's no room available, that's falling there, and the lady's in her office, and I need to have a conversation with a councillor that I can't have in front of staff. Where do you want me to go?
That's all part of the policy. That's exactly policy, and that would be in that policy. So yeah, that would, you know, I'm sure as long as it's transparent, we've got on the website. That's fine. Rebecca, did you want to say something on that?
Not on that.
Okay. Yeah, was there something else?
Yeah, I'm just intrigued as to what legal fees we had that were £1.
And I think that was what page is that on?
The last page about the unpresented cheque.
That was for the telephone box.
Just a pound.
The agreement. So I had to sign the agreement and give them a cheque, and then the cheque's never been cashed. And then once the cheque gets over 6 months old, it can't be cashed back in. So
bargain.
Just a pound.
So we've got 3 phone books.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's no further questions, the recommendation, point 1 is the payments made by the RFO for June 25 be respectfully approved. All those in favour? It's online as well. Okay, thank you. It's all, Ian, that's unanimous. And number 2, to approve the budget monitoring report for May 2025. Carrie?
As far as I'm aware, any questions for anybody? It's the new year, isn't it? So there's not really much expenditure so far. It's 1 month there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to approve the budget monitor report for May 2025, all those in favour? Says unanimous. Ange, can you hear us? Thank you. Cheers. Okay. So moving on to item 10, report from the Chair of Finance and Compliance Committee, please.
Nothing to report, we didn't have a meeting last night.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Report from the item number 11, report from the Chair of Environmental Committee.
Yeah, I did put the report on Teams so everybody's had a chance to read it. Obviously, it was written prior to the news about Rob resigning, so some of the things that we were planning to do during August are obviously inevitably going to be affected because we're not going to be having an environmental officer, who's going to start as soon as Rob finishes on the 4th of August. So that will impact, and obviously we'll be discussing that at the meeting in July. But if I could just draw attention to, if I can remember them off the top of my head, the various events that are coming up, and please make sure people, if you can come along, your help is always welcome, or if you know of people who are looking to do some volunteering, please send them down. This Thursday, we've got the next workshop for the Mumbles Crop Collective, which is going to be continuing some work on the raised beds and doing some more planting and generally tidying up. There will be new beds built all the way along here, as well as the ones at Norton Nature Reserve and also outside Jubilee Gardens. So that's Thursday, 10 till 12, meeting at Norton Nature Reserve. There is a litter pick with plastic-free mumbles, which is on the 19th, I believe, of July, meeting at Blackpool Lido, again, 10 till 12. And again, please, as many people as possible, come down and help with that beach clean. And then there is also another males weed and litter pick on the 3rd of August, that Sunday morning. Helen hasn't confirmed yet where the location will be, but obviously it will go out on the MCC Environmental social media when the location is confirmed. So finally, Buzz and Bloom still open for entries. Please make sure, if you haven't taken some of the little leaflets that you can hand out to people around you, please take some. They're just there on the table. And please encourage, if you, as you're out and about and around, you see a lovely garden, just knock on the door and say, or put the leaflet through the door saying, we've been looking at your garden. It's a lovely garden. Would you like to enter it for Mumbles, Buzz and Bloom? So we've got the rest of this month to do that.
Can I ask why Rob is leaving?
You can ask, yes. Quite a few reasons. Obviously, that'll be mostly discussed in personnel. I don't know how many of them are private.
I think the main one is private.
Right, yeah. So, we'll discuss that in personnel, but it is not anything to do with MCC.
It's not anything to do with the work, it's not anything to do with the people or the officers or the councillors. He's thoroughly enjoyed.
I think it's a necessary question to ask, because we see an awful lot of environmental engagement officers.
It's that sort of role. It's very much a development role.
He has given me feedback. Obviously, it was when he gave me his notice on Monday morning. I have explained to him that there will be an exit interview, which obviously there's a series of questions that obviously all ask when they exit the council, which will then come back to the personnel committee for them to obviously understand. It will get, because it's his opportunity to provide feedback on where he feels the role could be improved or what needs to change or what support could have been given or what was too much and things like that. So obviously there is going to be a personnel committee next week, which you are a member of, and that will be made obviously clear his reasoning why in that meeting, but obviously to divulge his reason in a full meeting.
I think that information could prove to be invaluable.
Yeah. Okay. If there's no further questions on that, we'll move on to the report from the Chair of Culture and Tourism, please.
Hello, thank you. No major update, just so I can hear the feedback.
Yeah, sorry.
Just the fact that we're going to hopefully go ahead tomorrow.
I'm just going to mute it so you can hopefully talk without feedback.
Thank you. That's better. Just to say that I think Claire's going to go ahead and book tomorrow the security and the speakers for the raft race. That will just add to along the prom for the RNLI. Thank you. For the raft race.
Carrie's got a question.
Yeah, sorry. Is MCC paying for security? We don't usually, do we?
Yeah. We have to pay for security to pay for the. We can't have the speakers without having security by the speakers because the speakers are worth a lot of money.
Right, and presumably that's already within the culture budget.
Yeah, it's £19.40 for security per hour. It's in all the budget. Yeah.
It was in the last meeting we agreed to a certain amount of money. I think it was 1,500, 2,000? 1,500, I think. We agreed at the last meeting that we would approach the RNLI. You were definitely there. They had. No. Council, and that we approached RNLA because we hadn't at the time approached them. It was an option to, you're doing a great job at the raft race, but it could be better. So the speakers, for example, some of the feedback I've had from visitors was that unless you're down by Verdi, so join the speakers up and so but obviously as Ange said, when she got the quote and all that, they said, well, they left the speakers on like 4, they've got security, so nothing's ever straightforward. So maybe the different solution where we can put them up on a pole, but for now that's so thanks for doing that, Andrew. That's great, and I'm sure it'll be a lot better event that a lot of people will enjoy even more. So well done, great. If there's no more questions, moving on to Elizabeth, another report of the Community and Social Development Committee, please.
Thank you, Chair. It's very alarming to hear about this incident at the skate park. Bearing in mind in 3 previous episodes involving the person who's been beaten up. I'm glad we've got it on the agenda for the next community and social meeting. I do agree that we'll have to be careful what how far we can take the discussion, particularly with parents. Bearing in mind, I think the father was, I think he was arrested, I think.
I think we should probably not talk about it.
But anyway, yeah, well, okay, right. But it is very alarming. And it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. And I understand that the Langland basketball is quite close to happening because we luckily don't have to pay for the suds.
Yeah. So I'm still chasing the correspondence with them because they so basically to give an update that we were told that we would need to get subs on the basketball court. So I went back to Will and said, right, this is what has come back. This is how much they've pushed us for doing it. So we asked internally in Swansea City Council how much it would be for them to obviously do the suds. And they actually come back and said if we were just overlaying the top of the surface with a surface that was to their specification, we wouldn't have to do the sud. So that information has now gone back to the company because when I relayed that to them verbally, they wanted to see it in writing that we'd had that from Swansea Council. So that's gone back to them. They've had that. So now obviously I will chase it again and it will be a case of hopefully we can get some dates forward from them of when it's going to happen and how long it's going to take, and then I can come back and let you all know via email once I've had that back from them.
Thanks, Sarah.
Solely because I have a vague notion that that's what we went through with tennis as well. Because they said if you could have the sort of perfect finish and then you'd have to add more drainage, or you could have a permeable finish, which would be fine, and you don't. So relief, right?
Hopefully, common sense prevails for one. So that's great. Item 14.
There's no.
Yeah, there's no committee recommendations. I was panicking because I didn't have any papers right. So, I was going to scramble over to be in, but luckily there is none. Okay, community consultation. I'll pass on to the clerk if I may for this one. Yeah.
So I did put a report in the agenda pack for everybody. And as you've seen if you're in the meeting where we signed off our annual return, our annual governance statements used to be aligned to the Town and Community Council Governance and Accountability Toolkit, but they've updated that now. There's a Finance and Governance Toolkit, and one of the recommendations in there is that we every year consult the community when we're building our budgets. So therefore, on that basis, I'd like permission from council to go out and hold some consultation, do a survey online, and also hold a couple of days in the Ostream Centre here. I'd like to take it in 3 targeted approaches if I can. I'd like to do school children in use in one approach, businesses within Mumbles as another approach, and then residents as a wider approach to get all that feedback into obviously a document that comes back to council and then would form part of our budget setting process. The idea is then that once we've taken all the feedback from the residents, and I know this is something that Martin will be very interested in, that we are able to do some participatory budgeting. So what that means is there would be a budget line in the budget for a project that is voted for by the community, and then the community have involvement in that project so they can monitor the budget all the way through, see what we're spending, see how far it is. And the idea of participatory budgeting is to share information and obviously get community engagement and what the council is doing. So that's why I'm seeking the permission to do the community consultation.
Thanks. I'm pretty sure we did a community consultation like years ago. I'm sure we did. We did, didn't we?
For the community plan, yeah.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. Oh, that was what it was for. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that back years ago. Okay. I think so. Yeah, Rebecca first.
Yeah, I'm really very much in favour of this, and thanks to Kerry for bringing it forward. I particularly like that the recommendation is that we instruct you to prepare a delivery plan, because consultation is only as valid as the thought that goes into the questions you ask.
Yeah.
So there's no point in just, scattergun ad hoc, oh, we should ask them this, we should ask them that. I think doing a really structured approach like you've outlined is really sensible and should add real value to the budget setting process. I'm particularly interested in how we can make better connections. I've mentioned this a couple of times over the years with our school councils. We've got 7 primary schools in the Mumbles area. And really, my experience of engaging with the school councils in West Cross is that they are smart cookies and they have got some brilliant ideas. So yeah, really happy to support, particularly on the school children side of things, and hopefully build some good kind of connections with our young leaders.
Great. And maybe it could go out to all councillors to engage with the schools, because I'm sure a lot of people would like to do that. So we could divvy up the schools maybe, or something like that. That would be a nice idea. Carrie?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with it. It's a brilliant idea. It's something, that we really should be doing every year, and it's great that we're going to be making a start. My only suggestion is that maybe we could try at least one of the consultations in another part of the MCC area, like at West Cross Community Centre. We could use the Friday afternoon, because otherwise it becomes very much the views of people at Mumbles, not the views of the wider MCC area.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think if we're doing that, we probably need to do it every ward. It's not as if there's a load of them as there's only 4. We can figure something out.
Yeah, the idea was that there would be drop-in sessions here, so instead of maybe just, and I'm only using here because of it's our building, not because it's in Mumbles, or I know I'm going to know you all when I say this. When I say Mumbles, I know the wider. Yeah. It's just the town centre. So yeah, we could do West Cross, we could do Mail, we could do here, we could do Newman, and obviously do the drop-in sessions there. I'm hoping that if we can get some leaflets as well, that we can kind of get the older residents as well, because I'm aware that they might come to drop-in sessions or do something online either. So it's trying to make sure we tick all the boxes for being inclusive.
Yeah.
As long as we're not standing in the December.
Yeah, you can fight that one out of home, Sarah. Sorry, I'm not going to upset. Yeah.
I was just going to say it'd be quite useful if we could set up stuff in time for the events, for the parties in the parks. We could say it captures all different age groups, grandparents, kids.
And they're going
comment box, Phil, did you want to?
Yeah, I mean, just following on from that, there's a few participatory ideas that I can float your way for the fun days that I've had experience of using for consultation purposes. But and of course, Mumbles Market was what I was going to mention, as long as it's not the December one. Or the January.
Just a reminder to everyone, I'm looking at you. If you have got any ideas for the budget, you need to start thinking about putting them into place, because things come around quick and it takes a while to get quotes and things. And I know you were quite keen. Well, you were quite keen to.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone who has got any budget ideas might be good to start thinking about that now. So I'm going to take the recommendations one at a time. Number one is to approve the principle of conducting a public consultation to inform the 26-27 budget setting process. All those in favour? And yeah, thank you. Cheers. Okay, that's unanimous. And recommendation number two, allocate the sum of 2,500 from the 25-26 contingency budget to fund the consultation. All those in favour? You, all unanimous again, Ian. And number three is instruct the chief officer to prepare a consultation delivery plan, including a time target, attendance and feedback mechanisms. Is there any feed-in on this one that the councillors will have to the?
Yeah, obviously, the aim is, because obviously I want to make sure that we're not asking questions that are yes, no, or leave. I want to make sure it's proper engagement. So there's a couple of councils that have already done this very successfully that I'm in conversations with already to see what methods and what routes they went down and how they structured their questions. Obviously there will be the opportunity for councillors to input into those questions. Before those questions go out, they will come back to council for agreement, and before they go out, that's why I said the structured delivery. So there's the opportunity for you to obviously have the input into what questions you think may be necessary.
That's great. And I think it could feed in before that last council meeting that they do appear at, because otherwise it'll be a bit of a tricky one to.
We're going to have a meeting in August? Or is this the last meeting until September?
Let's chat about that at the end. I think let's.
When it's going to come back?
When it's no rush on this, is there?
So we have budget January. So ideally, I'd like to do the consultation October, November.
Be done. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
Yeah, so you don't need an August meeting.
So don't need an August meeting, but given agenda item 18, I would like to reserve the to call an emergency meeting if we need to in August. Try and avoid it if we can.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable. There might be several. Say no more. Right. So instruct the chief officer to prepare consultation delivery plan, including a timeline, target audience, and feedback mechanisms. All those in favour? Thank you. Thanks, Ange. Okay, that's unanimous as well. Ian, okay, so item 16 is a environment request. It's in your pack. Environment request.
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I propose we just move straight to vote on this.
Yeah, well, I think, just to give a bit of background, board enough to sit through the whole thing. This is an environment of we weren't successful, am I correct, in the funding of the family fun days, which we have been for the Swansea Council and previous. They're very popular, and everyone puts, including the councillors and the staff, put a lot of work and effort into them, and they are very well attended by the public. So I think we can move straight to a vote on this. So it's via 2,500 from the contingency to family fun days. All those in favour? Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Exclusion of the press and public. Again, a bit of background just for the video's sake. There's some sensitive matters regarding Underhill, UMC, and the whole background of that. So we will have to exclude the press and public for that reason. So
it's obviously a lot of public interest in this item. I think there are probably a few things that we would like to say in public to the effect of, I'm sure we're all really committed to securing a sustainable future for the site. And it seems, I just wanted to kind of put that on the record before we move into closed session, because I don't want members of the public who might be watching this to think, oh, they're all going to secret squirrel session. We don't know what the intentions are. I hope I speak for anyone around the table anyway, when, our intentions here are to try and secure the best possible future for the facility. I just think it's worth putting that on the record.
Definitely.
Thanks, Rebecca. So all those in favour of moving into closed session? Thank you. And when we're